Hey everybody, how's it going? Cool Tech here, back with another video. And so today in this one we've got quite an interesting topic. So we're going to be building a product page using React and TypeScript. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to open up our terminal and we are going to use create React app by typing npx create React app. And we are going to do a dot to specify the current folder. And we are going to use template equals TypeScript. All right, guys, so this is going to build a TypeScript app. And I will be back once this is finished. All right, so we are back. We have finished building our React app. And we are going to start it by running npm start. And we are going to open up it will automatically open up the Google Chrome browser at localhost port 3000. And you can see that we have our basic React app loaded up and ready to go. So what we're going to do is we are going to just delete all of this boilerplate code here. And I'm going to remove that first import. And I'm going to just change up some of the way that we are defining this component. Const app equals return h2 hello world, and then we can do export default app. So this is just how I personally prefer to type out my functional components. I like to use anonymous arrow component or functions, and so we're using TypeScript, so we will define the app to be a React functional component, as you can see here. And yeah, so let's dive in. We're just going to focus on some of the main big things that are necessary with a product page. So we're going to be building out some sort of an image gallery. We will be building out some sections for product price and product details, and another section for adding a product to the cart, so like a button. And then lastly, a section for product reviews. And so that's the layout of this product page that we're going to be working on. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create a div to wrap this within. And we actually want to go into this and just delete some of this boilerplate code. We don't totally need it. We can also delete some of the boilerplate code from the app.css file. In fact, we can just delete all of this boilerplate code. And so let's get started by creating a components directory. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first thing that we're going to need is some sort of a basic navigation menu. So what I will create first is, just a basic navigation menu. So I'll create a Navbar component, and we will also need some sort of like a gallery component, which we'll come to later. And then lastly, let's do product details component. And yeah, let's just start here. So let's create an index.ts file. And we'll create a navbar.tsx. And so I'm going to use just a little tool. I'll post a link in the description so that you can download it. It's a VS Code plugin where if you just type RAFCE, it creates a React functional component for you. And yeah, so we are going to do const navbar react.fc. So we are going to declare it to be a React functional component. And yeah, so one other thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a navbar.module.css. So we are going to be using CSS modules for our styling. And the first class that we will define will be navbar. We will do import styles from navbar.module.css, and we will give it a class name equal to styles at navbar. All right, so you can see here We also, okay, so we need to import, no, we need to export Navbar from, and this is already with. Okay, so what we would want to do is actually export star from the Navbar component, just like this. And so now inside of our app.tsx file, the first thing that we will do is just basically reference our Navbar component. And let's just add a little bit of styling to it now. So for Navbar, we will give it a width equal to 100%. We would do a height of, let's do 64 pixels. Let's do a border bottom, 1px solid. We'll just do black for now. And we will do a display of flex. Let's see. We will do a padding equal to, let's do 16 pixels, 8 pixels, and we can actually get rid of our height. And so let's go ahead and start creating a couple of different menu items here. So this is going to be very simple navbar. We'll just do a logo, and we'll just start with a logo for now. Maybe we'll do a my cart. Okay, and so let's do 24. Let's do 16, 8. I'm sorry, let's do 8, 16. All right, and let's just do 16 pixels padding. So I'm just kind of playing around with the padding a little bit, making sure that this looks good. And we will do justify content space between. So we will have to remove the padding. Let's do 0.16 padding. Okay, no, let's do 16, 0 padding. And let's do a styling on the navbar span, padding 0.16 pixels. And here we go. So yeah, this looks pretty good. And let's actually do 24. Let's make it a little bit inward more. Let's even do 32. Okay, so we have a very basic nav bar here. And it's somewhat responsive. It's not perfect, but this will be the baseline for our navbar component. And it doesn't need to be too complex for the purpose of this video. So now let's start working on the actual product details. So what I envision is on the left side here, we will have some sort of a gallery. So there will be a main product image, and then there will be a list of other product images that you can cycle through. And on the right hand side, there will be product details. And yeah, so the way that we are going to go about doing this is, first off, we will change this to an app.module.css file. So we will be using a CSS module here as well. Let's change our import to import./app.module.css. Perfect. And let's give this a class name equal to styles at product page wrapper. Oh, import styles from and product page wrapper. What we could do is we could do a display flex, and then we could do flex direction column, and we could do a gap of, we could say 80 pixels. And then what we would have is gallery, and then a div product info. And so you can see that there's going to be an 80 pixel gap between each block of the page. And so this is one way that we could go about styling it. I think there's definitely some considerations when it comes to responsiveness with this type of approach that we can handle a little bit later on in the development. But for now, this is a perfectly valid way for us to at least begin our development here. So we are going to be breaking this into sections as well here. And so we've got our navbar, and then we've got our first section. And for this section, we are going to give it a class name, and we will have this just be the product details section. And we will create our product details class, and we will first give it a padding 0.32 pixels so that it is consistent with the navbar padding. And so yeah, and we will then be placing our gallery here, and we will also be placing our product info, or we can call it product details here. And so what we will want to do is we will want to give it a display of flex, and then what we will want to do is, let's see, so we will want to do a gap of 50%, and you can see that that gives us a gallery on the left hand side and a product details on the right hand side. And yeah, so let's begin actually building out now our gallery component. So similarly to what we did with our navbar component, we will structure our gallery component the same way, with an index.ts file and with a gallery.tsx file, and then lastly with a gallery.module.css file. Now, the same that we did before with our navbar.tsx, I'm going to type out RAFCE, and inside of our index.ts file, we will export star from gallery./gallery. And so now inside of our app.tsx file, instead of just having a div for the gallery, we will just import gallery, just like that. And so you can see that it's now rendering from here. And yeah, so this is how we would want to do something like this. Again, we will declare this to be a React functional component for our TypeScript definition. And we will begin building out some of our basic styling now for the gallery. So we will import styles from gallery.module.css, and class name equal to styles at gallery. And so now within our gallery class, the first thing that we will want to do is we want to think about the structure that we are going to be building this gallery based around. So the first element is going to be a product image, and then the next element will be some sort of a slider or a group of product images to click through, and when you click on them, that will change the main image that is displayed. So we will have two classes inside of this parent gallery. We will have a div class name equals styles at main image, and then we will have another div with a class name of styles, and we will call it image options. Let's say we can just call it image options. And so yeah, let's begin. So we will do a display of flex direction of column, and we will do a gap of 32 pixels. And so let's start working on just providing some sort of a baseline style for these sections. So for the main image, we will do a background of, let's just do FA for now, which is a somewhat gray, it's an off-white color. And we will do a width of, let's just say 80%. So we don't want this to take up the whole size of this div. We just want it to fill up 80% of it. And for now, let's just do a height of 500 pixels. And yeah, so let's, I don't see the styles applied, so what we'll do is we'll open up our HTML editor. And so we do have these styles here, but so we didn't specify a width for our gallery. So what we will do is we'll just specify width 100 pixels here. And as you can see, we now have our wrapper. And I see an issue. So instead of, so going back to our app module.css, so instead of doing a gap of 50%, we will do a gap of, let's say, 64 pixels. And now inside of our gallery module.css, we will change the width from 100% to width. We'll do a calculation, and we will do 50% minus 64 pixels, just like so. And so that will give us a much better breakdown. And let me change this color to make it a little bit more dark. So you can see we have our product image here, and we have our product details here. And now let's go ahead and start working on an outline or just a layout for our image options, just so that we can visualize it. And so what I will do is create a child for the image options and just call it image. And I'm just going to create, let's just do 5 for now. And let's go ahead and begin doing a layout for the image options class. And so what we will want to do is display flex and a gap. We'll do 24 pixels. And for this, we will also give a width of 80% as well. And we will also do, so what we're going to do is an overflow Y, and we will do hidden. And so now let's begin styling our image class. And we are going to do that by doing image options dot image. So this is a way to target the inner image class inside of the image options. And for now, we're just going to do a width of 64 pixels, a height of 64 pixels, and a background. We'll do the same background color as up here. And yeah, so you can see we've got our 5 images here, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So let's make this 300. So main image is 300 pixels high. And yeah, so you can see our images here now. And what I'd like to do is make them a little bit larger. So I'm going to make these 72 by 72. And so what I'm going to do now is give it a justify content center so that these are center aligned. And yeah, so this is looking pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, the main focus is just to get the layout of everything looking good. And then we can go in and kind of fill in the details as we go. So we've got our structure for the gallery, and we've got a product details that hasn't been totally added yet. And Yeah, so let's start building out the layout for the product details. So what we're going to be doing for the product details is, once again, same sort of component structure. You can see that there's really a very consistent structure for writing out your components in TypeScript. You're going to have an index.ts file, some sort of a styles file, a CSS file. You can use SCSS as well. And then you're going to have your actual component. And so that's the same type of structure that we're going to be using for our product details component, product details.tsx, and lastly, product details.module.css. And then we're going to use RAFCE so that we can create the component very fast. And we are going to declare it as React functional component and export star from product details and product details. So we're going to create a product details class, import styles from, let's see, product details.module.css, class name equals styles at product details. All right, so we've created our product details component now. And so now we can delete it from our app.tsx file, and we can just simply import product details, just like that. And we've got our product details component now that we're rendering, and we've got our navbar component, we've got our gallery, and yeah, so I think this is a good place for us to drop off here for the first video. I think just the best format for this is going to be through the course of, let's say, 3 videos or so. We'll just go little by little, and at the end of it, we'll have a complete product page built with React and TypeScript. So follow along. Be sure to subscribe so that you can follow along with the next video in the series. And yeah, please leave a comment letting me know what type of content you'd like to see, and I'd be happy to make more of that sort of content. So this is Cool Tech here, and I'm out.